This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Bidlin, everybody.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing very well. You know what I've forgotten to do the last couple of days? I want to just start the show with it because I feel bad that I didn't mention it. Congratulations to our colleague Ben Wilson, who is engaged to get married.
Thank God you did it now. I texted him.
I would have gone 3 more hours and forgot to do so.
I texted him yesterday. I was like, yeah, I totally saw this on Instagram like on Sunday or something and forgot to send you a text.
Benny Wilson. Holy matrimony. Good for him.
Hold on. I will get back. What did he text me back? He's like, yeah, been a little too busy to celebrate. He was on the call last night for the Mo Bamba-led Salt Lake City Stars against Mexico City in G League action.
That's why she couldn't resist. Clearly, it's a yes.
Pass that up.
That's clearly a yes. Congratulations to Ben.
Yes.
On the show today, Greg Peterson, baby. First hour, college hoops with Greg Peterson. We will get into his Fab Five, ask him some other college basketball questions, including this thing that I was talking about over vacation in the group chat with folks about Miami of Ohio. Undefeated still.
You know what? I'm going to have to start making this a graphic. No, coming in at number 4 on Kelly's most fascinating stories in sports and sports betting right now, Miami of Ohio, undefeated.
Let's review that list again.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Both the top 2 are NBA tanking related, but NBA tanking, mainly number 1, the Dallas Mavericks potentially tanking away Cooper Flagg's Rookie of the Year. By the way, they've now won 2 in a row with him on the bench. How's that all working out?
Yep.
Number 2, Darren Peterson, what is he?
What is he?
And how is he going to be treated? And number 3, Scotty Scheffler can't play golf on Thursdays.
Oh, okay. So this checks in at number 4.
Number 4, Miami of Ohio, undefeated.
We'll talk to Greg Peterson about that and more. Of course, his Fab Five coming up. Will Hill, the power's back in Connecticut.
That's right.
At least we hope so before his appearance. He comes on. He'll talk all his college basketball bets, some baseball, some year-longs. We'll try to coax out of him. Nick Whalen on the NBA. Toddy Wishnev going to join us later to talk college hoops. Todd Wishnev yesterday, in-game betting. He lost his first 2, and then he messed around and rattled off 11 wins in a row.
I was going to say, I think I saw a couple of like more celebratory messages come down, which I don't normally see from him.
Kid's ridiculous. Co-host of the Megapod, I might add. Kid's ridiculous. He'll be on the show later on. I wish we had games going on so we could in-game while we're doing it, but we will talk in-game. Okay, tennis, bad day yesterday. Lost the 2 on the show yesterday. I only had 1 other pick. That lost 2 yesterday. So after a rousing day before that, where we hit a big dog, it was an 0-3 yesterday. I do have 2 places. This is really weird with these 5 tournaments this week, because they play at different time zones. Then most of these aren't lined for certain tournaments. They're all lined for others at certain times of day, so I can't even handicap most of them until I get off the show. But the ones that I have handicapped, I got 2 plays. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kelly Bidlin with your women's tennis pronunciations.
Whitney Osigwe.
Nice.
Money line plus 204 versus Rebecca Masarova.
Uh-huh.
Now this is going to get... Okay, Oksana, no problem. Oh, boy. Selikmeteva.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you always got that
You
one.
got to do that. Medeva.
Uh-huh.
Selikmeteva versus Kamila Rakimova.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a hell of a name.
Well done. Both in Austin, Texas, both on the hards of the outside courts. In Austin, Texas, Whitney Osigwe and Oksana Selikmetova. Osigwe, who we hit on as a big dog 2 days ago, this time against Masarova, as Kelly said, and Selikmetova as a short dog against Rakimova. So Osigwe, Selikmetova, those are your 2 tennis plays that I have already for subscribers. VSiN.com/picks. VSiN.com/picks might have some more later in the day, but again, it's a fakakta week of tennis before Indian Wells.
I got a tennis question for you.
Yeah.
What's with these Williams sisters? Like Venus is down there playing in Austin?
Well, playing.
Are they like trying to be serious about this?
Playing
or no?
is a loose term for Venus. I think she's
collecting a check.
She loses. Well, she said, "Oh, I need the health insurance." Is what she said.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
I don't know what Venus is doing, but you do not file the papers if you're not trying to come back if you're Serena. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if she's playing doubles only.
Okay.
Coming up this year, or if she is going to get back on the court. Maybe she is in this mode of, you know what? I'm better than all these girls. I'm gonna play singles and I'm gonna actually compete for a slam. I'd love to see that.
I'm gonna put on the outside looking in of Kelly's list the Williams sisters. A thing or not a thing again?
Kelly's got a list.
Oh,
I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing. But sir, you don't file papers and then say you're not playing.
Because that came down, last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that? Yeah, and then I walked in this morning, I'm like, Venus is playing in this.
Well, Venus has been playing. She shows up at tournaments. But, you don't voluntarily file papers to get random dope testing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You're going to play.
But, like, Venus can't be like, I know wherever she's at in the rankings probably prevents this, but, like golf style, she can't be like Steve Stricker and show up like 10 times a year.
They keep giving her wild cards.
They keep giving her wild cards.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Good luck, Serena. That's all I got to say. These girls better than you think. All right. That would
be fun, though.
Oh, we hit our first brain dead NBA parlay yesterday.
Easy for you.
Easy peasy. Oof. Yours was not easy?
I got my parlay home.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't even want to talk. This was...
Oh, no. Did you have the...
I had the Wolves laying the points? Yes, I did, Gil Alexander.
No,
yes, I did.
No.
There's always we always say this, as many that go against you go your way, right? But there are probably 5 beats a year in the NBA that you're just like, this is going to take a couple days.
Okay.
That was one of them last
How many
night.
points were you giving in this game?
I was laying 5.5. I think it closed at 6.5. I know others were on 6.5. It didn't matter. Every single one of those lost.
So... T-Wolves, basically, just to put it in perspective, T-Wolves were up 9 with 38 seconds left.
Yes, and I'm cherry-picking times there. They were...
Yes.
You will see the highlights. If you see the highlights today, I don't know why we're not, including some of the betting stuff in highlights packages, because the last highlight you will see is Jaden McDaniels dunking the ball when he shouldn't have to put them up to that score with a little over a minute left.
Your 5.5 is a brutal beat. The 6.5s weren't as bad, but... You needed it was basically a barrage of threes for the Blazers at the end that beat you, including one with 1 second left.
One that from a vet with under a second left. That why? This is why I don't bet college basketball, so I can avoid things like this. And then Anthony Edwards, this is where someone tweeted me, this is the exact Wolf stuff that bothers me, right? It's, this game's over, whatever. Anthony Edwards clanks 2 free throws.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter.
Couldn't make one of them for
Couldn't
you?
make one of them,
Not that would have mattered in the end.
Yeah.
So the Sixers, Hawks, Hornets, it couldn't be easier than that. That's again, 78 cents on the dollar, so that we want to know. We're just going to, sort of have these in the background. Kelly hits his Sixers, Hornets, Wolves one. Wasn't quite as easy, but he gets that done at plus 175. That's not a brain dead one. That's a solid one there for you. Tonight...
real quick story last night of the NBA, third quarters. Because did you see that Bulls-Hornets score at halftime?
Oh, I did.
That was...
nip and tuck.
42-16 then. Hornets put it on them in the third.
Tankapalooza.
Wild. And then the... was the other one? The Cavs-Knicks. Not Tankapalooza.
No.
Knicks with a whole 11 points in the quarter.
I'm told that's not good.
No, the Knicks are... They have really played some statement games so far out of the break, Gil, in a bad way. In a bad way, yes.
Not all statements are created equally. Tonight there is no brain dead parlay. Houston would be a leg, obviously, 14-point favorites over the Kings. It's a massive money line. But I'm not willing to... The only other games where this would theoretically apply for the brain dead parlay would be Cleveland at Milwaukee, but I already when I did my tiers of trustworthiness, the Bucks are too good for this.
They're frisky, man. Yeah.
They're frisky, and then Giannis is going to come back. I don't think they're trying to tank, so I'm not touching that. And then Golden State is without Steph versus the Grizzlies, so I'm not touching that. So there is no brain dead parlay tonight. I tell you what I did bet, though. I bet Victor Wembanyama to win MVP yesterday at 25-1. I have the Spurs to win it all. I have the Spurs Celtics in a 125-1 matchup in the championship. I just decided to do the trifecta yesterday. Victor Wembanyama to win NBA MVP 25-1. I put together this little chart here, Kelly.
Let's go.
So the 65-game rule, we throw that around, maybe we should probably explain it. 65-game rule was put in effect in 2023 for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, all NBA teams, all defensive teams. Basically, it was to combat load management, right? Adam Silver and all his infinite wisdom in the NBA was like, hey, we're going to combat this. You got to play at least 65 games to qualify for these awards. Did it end up hurting? Is it ending up hurting legitimately injured players? Absolutely. For sure. Is it forcing teams into awkward situation of playing players to qualify for an award they wouldn't otherwise play down the stretch? If the rule didn't exist, yes. Is it going to perhaps produce a second-tier MVP? Yes.
And probably will at some point.
Am I going to continue the show by answering all my own questions? No. But I might. So anyway, here's the chart. I just went to DraftKings and FanDuel just to give two. You should always shop around. But these are the best odds for these 6 candidates. These are the only candidates I think that are under triple digits. From Shea all the way down to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
The next column is, so those are the odds. The next column is the games played by the player against the team games that have already been played. So Shea, with this abdominal injury, and he's not going to go tonight either, I don't believe.
Correct.
But he might come back Friday. We'll see. But right now, he's missed 8 games in a row. Hasn't played since February 4th, since before the All-Star break. So the reason this comes up now is because of this. And ab injuries are really pesky. So even if he comes back, like there's a risk of re-injury. It's just such a bad thing. Guy hasn't stopped playing basketball since 2021, which we highlighted on the show months ago. But so he's played in 49 of 59. Therefore, you go to the far right column, he can afford to miss 7, that includes tonight's game, 7 more games total out of the Thunder's remaining 23. And then you see it for every other player on that list. Nikola Jokic can only miss 1 more game. That's it. Wembanyama can only miss 3 more. Luka can only miss 5 more. That's the sort of graph you need to sort of assess this. For me, the path is clear. Jokic misses 2 more. This Shea injury is peskier. I hate to root against this stuff, but we're here for capitalism, right? So those 2 guys end up getting eliminated, and then it becomes a Cade versus Wembanyama thing, and I think Wembanyama wins on that. That's why I took the 25-1, or at least it's a way better number than Cade did. That's my thinking. That's the bet.
I like it.
Coming back, numbers game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
There is no other college basketball betting analyst quite like him. His passion is unparalleled. He handicaps every game, every day, all season long. Sleep is not an option for him. He stays fresh by running 12 miles a day, every day, while doing his podcast and answering your tweets. He is Greg Hoops Peterson.
Tame the madness of March by catching Greg Peterson on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
You're not going to want to miss Wednesday's edition of Money Moves. We've got a good one for you. Matt Brown of Long Shots fame and fortune will join us as we look ahead to the Cognizant Classic this weekend. It's got some best bets that you're going to want to hit on. Plus, a full slate of National Hockey League action as we are back on the ice for the regular season. We'll take a look at all these games, and I'll tell you why VGK can pull it off against the Los Angeles Kings. And don't forget about the usual college basketball and NBA slates. Don't miss it. It's Money Moves Wednesday, 11 to 1 Pacific, 2 to 4 Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Sharp plays in full effect. Unmatched transparency with records updated daily. AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, and alerts directly from the pros. Scan the QR code for more. Sharpplays.com. Check them out. We get tweets beating the book. Always appreciate it. Ankit Kadakia. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Joe Pita's segments were absolutely amazing yesterday. Would y'all be able to do that for NBA, tennis, NFL, college football, men's college basketball? Maybe have a trusted handicapper walk through some metrics and how they use them. Can't wait for Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow, Joe's next appearance in our little 3-part series with Joe. Joe was fantastic yesterday, as he always.
Oh, so good. So good.
James Fessler. Not sure which college hoops analytics guy could best answer, but interested in how many Power 4 teams would be projected as undefeated with the Miami of Ohio schedule, or maybe the lowest one. Like, is it a Louisville, UCF, Kentucky? Just pre-bracket perspective. It's a great question.
It's a great question.
Because that schedule is brutal, which, again, the question I want to ask Greg is, what happens? Let's say Miami of Ohio wins out. I think they have 3 more games, 2 more games, something like that. Their last game is a little dicey, but, let's say they go undefeated. They go into the MAC tournament. What if they lose the first or second game of the MAC tournament? Are they still in the tournament? I just think it's a worthwhile question to ask.
3 more games. Friday at Western Michigan, and then 2 next week, home against Toledo and at Ohio.
At Ohio could be a little dicey. But I'm just saying that, let's say that, for the purpose of the conversation, let's say they go undefeated and then they lose in the MAC tournament. Where do they have to lose in the MAC tournament for this not to be a discussion?
Yeah. It's fascinating.
I think you have to put them in no matter what. The optics of an undefeated regular season team, I don't care if they lose the first game of the MAC tournament, you have to put them in.
How many teams are we letting in these days? I can't even keep track. 68 or whatever, is that what we're at?
320, Kelly, I think is the answer.
If we're in the 60s, we can't get an undefeated team in? Come on.
Got to put them in. Bama Sluggers, the brain dead parlay is awesome. Thank you. James Sott, haven't been able to watch live lately, but thankfully listening via pod yesterday. I'm all in on Tankapalooza 26.
By the way, I don't think our sharp hockey brains figured anything out, but that would be the other way to go tonight. Is if you wanted to attack the tired Olympics players.
That's what we talked about yesterday. You could do that, right? You could throw the Rockets in with one of those, but that wouldn't count on our ledger.
No.
Roger Jones, thanks, Gil. Hit my first brain dead parlay. Jim Del Torio, thanks, gentlemen. Bulls, Pacers, Wiz, all are with the program tonight. Tomorrow, let's hope the Kings and Grizzlies are too. Well, no, not going to do it. Andrew Holmes, tanking NBA moneyline parlay, never in doubt. Mark Meltzer like Seltzer. Great to hear Joe Peter talking baseball yesterday. Tom 9966, good call on the tanking. Mike P. I'm with Mike P on this. I'd like to propose a new rule, he says. The first rule of Tankathon 2026 is that we don't talk about Tankathon 2026. Gilly, our fearless leader, leads us to the vault, and we don't brag. That is all. I agree with that. They're brain dead after all. I should also point out one other thing about the brain dead parlays. The books, this just in, Kelly, are aware that this is happening. So unlike 8 years ago, some of the sharper books are going to raise the money lines on these, which is going to make our break even that much more difficult, right?
I also think you're referring more to the part of that tweet of like the celebrating afterward.
It's just a brain dead parlay. Yeah. Like, if we should win them, right?
Yeah, the full media has been talking about how big of the season's in the tank for months now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean Engel, listening back to Tuesday's show, was lucky to be at Skimo, and Drew was spot on. But did you know that Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes author, popularized it by writing about his trip 8,000-foot Circa Pass in 1894, and that, like Drew, he liked fine wine. We have the best listeners.
Damn.
Best listeners ever. Bougie, but best. Buddhist man, tune up the ANG orchestra. I think we're going to hear some singing after last night's majestic in-game performance by Wishnev. James Fraction, our buddy at Action Sir Frack, over there in, I believe it's Annapolis, Maryland. Hey, Gil, in regard to the NL MVP market discussion from yesterday, since there's a way to determine a second-place finisher, is it time to open up a winner without Ohtani NL MVP market a la Scotty Scheffler? Give the Merrills and Crow Armstrongs of the NL a chance. We talked about this yesterday. I think it's time. You can't even have an NL MVP discussion. You can't. He's just something different. We've never seen this before. It's not an even playing field.
I keep forgetting who tweeted. I brought this up on Monday or whatever. Matt and I got that tweet a week ago. I don't remember who it was from now. Steve the Proxy? Is that who it was from? And we read it again on Monday. He chimed back in.
John B. Not that John B. from the 90s R&B scene, but another one. Welcome back for Wishnev Wednesday. I'm looking at under Texas A&M Arkansas, 170.5. Can you ask Wishnev what all the possible scores would win? Thanks. Todd's bit on the Megapod where he goes through all the possible winning scores as we dying. Jonathan Doe, good morning. Tell Kelly that it's verses, not verse. How in the hell did such a mistake like this evolve over the years? I'm blaming. Where's Danielle? Is she around here? Danielle Alvar? I'm blaming Danielle.
You're going to blame Alvari?
Blaming Danielle. You got it from Danielle.
Stray. Wow.
You got it from Danielle. No, not a stray. We love Danielle. That's where you got it from, I think.
Why, did you notice her say it a lot?
Yeah, I used to notice her. I didn't have the
It's
heart.
definitely it's, as you've pointed out, something that's evolved over time.
And finally, Pat Montefort, if Serena comes back, she may be in the best shape of her life. Weight-wise, no shameless plug. For the weight loss drugs, they have enough money. Yeah, no, she is in the best shape of her life. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Probably precipitating why she wants to come back. Let's go back real quick to that NBA MVP race graphic. You wanted to say something here?
Oh, just a couple things. This is, I was kind of digging into some of the stat numbers this morning. It's a lot of the same. If you go to some of the advanced numbers with estimated plus minus, stuff like that, it's Jokic, SGA 1-2. I don't think there's any shock there. It's been like that for 3 years now. SGA, though, just throwing this out there, very efficient scoring season that he's having. He's at 31.8 points per game. That is down from last year. Just worth throwing that out there. The rebounds and steals down a little bit as well. Just bringing it up. Nikola Jokic, 28.8 points per game, second best mark of his career. He's also have his career high in his assists. So we're saying that. Then Victor, blocks are down a bit this year, just in overall. 2.8, though. That's still a very big number.
Will we end up in a situation late in a season where one of these coaches is going to roll out one of these players on the court for the opening tip and then pull them just so they can have a game play? Or is there a minutes limit?
I do believe, I don't know off the top of my head, I do believe there's a minimum number of minutes.
I think so,
it's
too.
like 10 or something like that.
I believe so, too, which prevents that. By the way, for those wondering, though, because obviously...
But they'll do whatever they can, Gil.
Obviously, the coaches and the players are aware of this 65-game floor. Mark Daigneault, for his part, head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, though, when asked about this sort of situation with SGA down the stretch as it relates to MVP, says, quote, "I'm thinking about the Thunder," unquote.
I don't know why this came up over the All-Star break. Jokic was a little bit more outspoken than we've heard him in the past, where we often jump to the conclusion, like this guy, because the way he carries himself and the way like we've seen him in the offseason, we jump to the conclusions that he doesn't care that much, right? He's just great and he doesn't care.
They all care.
He let ESPN know he cares not only about championships, but MVPs is absolutely something he cares about too. And I think it's just obvious with how he came back. I think he came back too early, probably. But he's a guy that doesn't need to rely on some of that athleticism as much as these other guys. He's kind of been able to play his way back into shape. But man, it's going to be tight down the stretch here. And the standings are going to come into play. This is where, like, I added Wembanyama last week, too. And I first said it was to kind of round out my portfolio because I have Jokic and Cade Cunningham tickets already. But really, it's just the best bet on the board right now to me. Like, he can miss 3 more games. I think that covers all the Spurs back-to-back situations that they have left. And if there's a world where the Spurs grab the best record in the Western Conference,
yes.
like, that's still on the table. And if that happens, I think he leaps past both.
Yeah. Yes. How can you deny him at that point?
Yep.
Anyway, that's the thinking. Just to let you know, this is how it works. I put this together. I put these numbers together in the morning. Then I just throw it at him, and then I come strolling in here acting like it's going to be ready. Oh my God! Well, one more thing on this. Mm-hmm. I tried to talk myself into Luka yesterday. You know what the qualitative argument is against Luka, which I subscribe to? He whines about everything now. I think that alone, seriously, if all things were equal, there's going to be voters who are going to be like, I'm not voting for that guy.
And Gil texted me this before the game last night, which was one of his worst.
Dude, every possession. He's become Rick Barry from a previous generation.
Bad, man. It's bad. Just updating a couple of the other ones. This most improved player race. Jalen Johnson leaves the game last night for the Atlanta Hawks.
Jeez.
Now, hip injury, hip flexor is what they're calling it. No real timeline or if he's going to miss games at all. We don't really know. Odds plus 110. He's still your favorite. Duran has hopped Avdia to plus 360. I don't know if I can really get on board with the Duran case. I've stayed quiet about this, Gil. The Pistons are awesome. But Duran has one of those, you go look at career stats. Yeah, it's improved from a year ago. 2 years ago, a lot of his numbers looked better, though. Yeah. So, like, I always have a problem with that one. I don't know. This is going to be wild down the stretch. And then Rookie of the Year, Odds continue not to move much, Gil, but I just feel like it's worth noting that Con Knippel has now become the fastest player to reach 200 3-pointers made, okay? And it's not even close. Duncan Robinson needed 11 more games, and he's only 5 away from setting the all-time rookie record.
Yeah, Keegan Murray has that record, 206 made.
I'm going to do my best Jay Croucher impersonation down the stretch here of the season.
And try to influence the market?
Yeah, anything good that Con Knippel does, I will be speaking it a lot.
I've never done that over the years. You have any NBA plays tonight?
I do have 2. I laid it with the Spurs, and I laid it with the Nuggets. Spurs going into Toronto tonight. What a brutal back-to-back for the Toronto Raptors, OKC, and then the San Antonio Spurs. And then I got, same thing, Boston coming into Denver, 4-game West Coast road trip for them, back-to-back 3 and 4. Jaylen Brown questionable. I laid it with the Nuggets.
Greg Hoops Peterson, College Hoops, next on the Numbers Game right here at VSiN.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on the Numbers Game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander. That right there's Kelly Bidlin, everybody. Producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Let me run Ron Burgundy through some tweets here. Bruce Dobiggin. Pistons were worst team in NBA for 4 years. Got the top pick just once with Cunningham. Could have picked Wemby, Moncaro with number 1s as well instead. Got Asar Thompson, Ron Holland with 5th overall picks. Tanking schmanking.
Yeah, I
don't really get that.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. They still stunk, right?
It's still bad, and they have an MVP caliber player from having a top pick.
We should do that. We should just read tweets and then comment. Well, I don't really get that, dude. Las Vegas 514, yo.
Or just criticize every team for not waiting long enough for Wembanyama.
Yo. So since I have the only signature on the petition for Greg Peterson to appear on Love Is Blind, can you ask Greg, does he actually believe Love is blind? If he doesn't, I'll start a petition for one young Kelly Bidlin. Well, there's no better segue, ladies and gentlemen, because when I did my Love Is Blind review on Monday, that was my topic sentence. Love is not blind. That's what this show proves. Greg Peterson joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at @GUnit_81. Greg, part of the glue that holds this whole operation together. Greg, good morning to you, sir.
Hey, I am doing great. And in terms of what you were just talking about, I have no idea what Love Is Blind is, what I have been petitioned with. I have never seen the show. I can't tell you a second about it, but I appreciate the fact that I am on the petition, so I will say that.
Okay, let me just give you the premise. You're in a pod. You can't see the girl. She's in her pod, and through just verbal communication, you fall in love, Greg. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Oh, I'd be very interested in that. That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Oh, my God.
I can match the fact that, there's no way that this guy is actually a schmuck that loves like Southland and Patriot League college basketball. And I think that I have a good nose for knowing whether or not a person is attractive or not based on their voice. Like there's just a voice that a person has. When you listen to them, it's like, yep, that person's probably very attractive and don't know if I'm feeling it here.
Like I said, the whole pods thing is like, you can just love bomb each other in the pods because all you have to do is say things like, I like pizza. And she's like, oh my God, I do too.
I enjoy movies.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
That you have found the one where it's like, I love random college basketball games in Hawaii, and you get a response of,
girl,
me
Greg.
too.
If you like naming all backup point guards in the Horizon League.
If the Abilene Christian depth chart is your bag, I'm your guy. All right, Greg, here's the deal. Before we get into your Fab Five. Miami of Ohio, we just brought this up. I wanted to ask you about this. They're 28-0. They got 3 more regular season games. I guess at Ohio's kind of dicey maybe in the last one. Maybe. Let's say they go 31-0. Are they in no matter what? Or is there still a scenario, in your opinion, where they lose in the MAC conference tournament and can still get bounced from the big dance?
If they go through the regular season undefeated and they get left out of the NCAA tournament, then we need to rename it from the NCAA tournament to the Power Conference tournament.
Agreed.
There's just no way that you can do it. There's absolutely no way. The committee will get so badly obliterated that it's not even funny. There's going to be mutiny. There's going to be outrage. Everyone is going to be so angry with them that it's not even funny. They have to be in the NCAA tournament. Because it's the old Herm Edwards mantra of you play to win the game. Like, if you go 31-0 and you instead put an at-large team in that goes for 10-plus losses in the regular season, then what in the world are we doing? So I believe that they have to be in. Now, I fear that the committee, because they have really shafted some of these mid-major teams for a very, very long time, that they might leave them out. In my opinion, they just can't do it, though.
Ooh, you think there is a possibility they could? Like, if they, again, let's take it to the extreme, they lose their first game in the MAC tournament. You think there would be people in that room advocating them getting bounced entirely? God, that would be ridiculous.
I mean, that's as sad as it sounds. I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 idiots in that room that probably do.
I think you're probably right. I lied. One more question before your Fab Five. UConn and St. John's tonight. They played right before the Super Bowl. That weekend, I think the Friday night before the Super Bowl, it had like an Elite Eight atmosphere at MSG. It was awesome. St. John's prevailed that night, but I remember my takeaway, and I think a lot of people's takeaway, even in defeat, it was sort of like, yeah, UConn feels like a team you want to bet on here. They play tonight, the rematch. UConn favored by 5.5. What is your take on this game?
And I do remember betting St. John's in that first game, and I'm on UConn in this game as well. Now, I was able to land a 4.5 overnight. At a 5.5 plus, I think that it gets a little bit too far because I did make my number at 5.5 as well. But with UConn, it's a bunch that they don't necessarily do one thing great. They just feel like they're solid all the way around. But I think the X factor for them is whether or not solo ball can get going from three-point range. Last year, he was shooting about 40% from three. This year, that's been down to about 32%. Now, UConn is leading the Big East in terms of three-point shooting, in terms of conference play only. And I just don't love the way that St. John's allows a lot of second and third chances. And here's a big thing as well with St. John's. Who's their point guard? Like Zuby Ejiofor and Dylan Mitchell are forwards, and they right now lead the team in assists. That's right now what's keeping me off of really being able to upgrade the St. John's team, because I believe that they've got a ton of talent. I think that they have a chance to be able to hold in here once again, but who's that main point guard to help them out in a tight game? That's why I've got a lot of questions with them, and that's the reason why I was able to get there with UConn laying the 4.5 overnight.
Yeah, what's the old adage about winning the NCAA tournament? Got to have good guard play. That's a huge Achilles heel for the Red Storm. All right, to the Greg Peterson Fab Five. We don't have any big intro for this? No?
Bum, ba, ba, ba.
There it is. North Texas and Charlotte. Which way are you going here?
We're going to be looking at Charlotte here laying a point. I know that in some places they were favored, some places an underdog, whether you've got the -1, +1, like Charlotte here along with the under. You've got North Texas team that in games played away from them outside the top 325 in terms of points scored on a per possession basis. Now, defense is really good. Away from home, they're a top 5 team in terms of turnovers generated on a per possession basis, top 30 team in terms of opponents' three-point shooting percentage, but I just don't think that they can outrun the fact that they just can't shoot away from home. They shoot 23% from three-point range away from home. There are 365 Division I teams. That is 365th in all of college basketball. Charlotte, very slow and controlled team outside the top 320 in terms of total possessions per game. You've got a guy in Anton Bonke, who's been a 7-footer coming over for Providence that shoots it from three. Like Charlotte here, whether you're getting them -1 or +1 to go along with that under.
See that Charlotte logo again, Kelly? The 49ers, the gold digging pick inside the sea? Remember we talked about this last time?
Oh, I never see these things.
All right, can we flash it up for Kelly?
I don't know if I've ever noticed this one before, and I've looked at this logo for my entire career working in sports media, which is now like 18 years.
All right, inside the sea, there's a little gold pick because they're 49ers. I just want to... Yeah, it's kind of like a FedEx thing where they stick it in the logo. There it is. See it? Is it right there?
Never noticed that before in my life. Yeah. Never.
Well, all right. That's why we're here.
What are those little? What are those little like the pixelated things like in the '90s that you tried to, like, if you stare at long enough, the picture will jump out to you. You know what I'm talking about?
That was like a color blindness thing. I thought the pixelated stuff.
No, it was like something like if you didn't see the picture, but if you stared at it long enough, it would like
okay. Anyway,
I
think we stray.
Yeah, we did.
All right, Greg, what's next?
Well, it's not magical what Valparaiso has been able to do with their shooting, and that's a big reason why I'm in on the under in Drake versus Valparaiso. Outside the top 320 in terms of their two-point shooting percentage. Now, you've got a Drake team that's been 272nd in terms of points allowed on a per-possession basis, but with Drake, they actually give up fewer points away from home rather than at home. Drake and Valparaiso are actually two teams that do a pretty solid job in terms of taking care of the ball, but Valparaiso has been well outside the top 225 in terms of total possessions per game. Have a Valpo team that has actually done a very good job in terms of guarding the three-point arc. Drake is a team that relies a little bit on three-point shooting. That total of 148.5 in a game that I don't think you're going to get a lot of possessions, and really neither team shoots it well. I'm in on the under in that game.
Everyone's favorite ACC rivalry, not Duke, Carolina. SMU, Cal. What do you got?
And since I did my write-up, Cal has went from being more of a 2.5-point underdog to a 4.5-point underdog, and I do like the points here with Cal. I think that they win this game outright. They do the little things well. They shoot over 77% of the free throw line. They're a top 30 team in terms of fewest turnovers on a per-possession basis, and this SMU defense is just ghastly. They're outside the top 130 in terms of points allowed on a per-possession basis. They give up tons of second and third chances. Recognize that Cal really doesn't have anyone healthy with the fact that Lee Dort is out with injury. That's giving you over 5 rebounds per game, but they also shoot 38% from three. That's a top 25 mark in the country. I like Cal with points there.
All right, fading the local squad, fading the Running Rebels tonight.
Yep, I did have to back them over the weekend against Air Force because Air Force is just brutally bad. But in Grand Canyon, in a bounce back spot, because the last time these two teams played, they lost that game outright. I like them to be able to keep this total under, and I like them laying the 8. It's a UNLV team that has been able to generate some turnovers, so they do a solid job there. But Grand Canyon has been a very solid defense, top 35 team in terms of points allowed on a per possession basis. A little bit of rough three-point shooting, but it's a UNLV team that doesn't do a great job down low either. So in on the under, and Grand Canyon laying 7.5 to 8.
All right, and finally, West Coast Conference game between Santa Clara and St. Mary's. You have a total.
Yep, I'm in on the under. St. Mary's outside the top 295 in terms of total possessions per game. Santa Clara, top 40 team in terms of turnovers generated on a per possession basis. And when it comes to this St. Mary's team, they're not going to allow you to get second and third chances. So I think that you get a lower scoring game. And I do like the 5.5 that I'm seeing with Santa Clara as well.
Greg Peterson, everybody, the best. Love is blind, Greg. Think about it. You don't have to answer now. Just sleep on it. We appreciate it. Thank you, Greg.
I appreciate you, and I accept.
Accepts. He thought about it already. NFL win totals next on A Numbers Game.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Prop Points takes you to the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports with hosts Jeff Erickson and Nick Whalen of RotoWire.
He's the one that's the trendiest. He's the one that's going the earliest of the three, and in some leagues I've seen him go as early as the second round.
The one thing that stood out to me here is, value-wise, I would take a look at Dorian Finney-Smith over 2.5 boards.
They'll help you find the connection between the two and give you expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game. Pardon me. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin. I'm verklempt because of what just happened off air, which we got to get to here momentarily.
Yeah, it's wild.
We get tweets beating the book. Judd O'Connor, I'm sorry, I didn't see your UL Monroe question for Greg. We'll pass that on to him. Brandon Webb, it was a brain-dead Schrodinger's parlay for me, as are most in the NBA NHL season for me. Thanks for the dub.
You know what little...
Schrodinger's cat, he woke up in the morning, saw it was a dub.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah. It's not dead or alive until you lay eyes on it.
I got to wake up to that Wolves bad beat. That was fun. I didn't see the very end of that.
That's not a good Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, it was not. That was not. You know what really passed by quickly, like 10 years ago, we got over. I know it was a lot made of it when it first happened, when University of Louisiana Lafayette changed to just the University of Louisiana, and UL Monroe was like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? You don't get to do that. We quickly moved past that. I'm still with you, ULM. It's unfair.
RGB, Social Beacon. Gil, maybe Kelly will rework his tennis pronunciations to be in his best R&B style, like Levert, for example. That's why I sang it that way when I said rock 'em over. So he wants you to sing all them in R&B style.
Gil backing me up, man.
I'm much on rock 'em over. Steve the Proxy, I thought about this yesterday when betting Wemby. I was worried about the Josh Allen one play and sit scenario. To be eligible for major NBA awards, players must play in at least 65 games. Players must log at least 20 minutes in these games.
There you go.
So that's not negligible.
Nope.
Brian M says, I think Kelly could tell you and Greg that if Miami loses their best player, they could get left out of the tournament.
Hey!
FSU, too soon. T-Berg _95. VSiN needs to give Greg a raise so he can afford some sunscreen. He didn't look that burned to me, did he?
I mean...
Maybe just a perma-red.
He's kind of perma-red. But, the dude's out running a marathon every day.
12 miles a day, no sunscreen.
There's not much cloud coverage in this city.
I tried telling him. I'm like, that's not good, Greg. He didn't really seem to care. He wasn't really asking for my advice.
You know what?
Filthy the Kid. You guys see this? Thoughts? Also, it was another video. You see LeBron is calling for the ball from Luka there? Oh, what is he referring to here?
I don't know. There was too much made of this last night. It was the Luka passed up an open shot.
Luka has admitted that there are chemistry issues with both LeBron and Austin Reeves. You think?
I have something I want to say about that, but it's not. Can't say it on radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman. Can we call him a gentleman? Who works behind the glass. His name is Chris Foster. We want to do this segment with him called Deep Thoughts with Chris Foster. We're still workshopping it. Or we could just do old guy, young guy, me and him just batting around ridiculous things. Like, he's like, Floyd Mayweather's the greatest boxer of all time. I'm like, oh, dear God. That kind of thing, right? He does all these parlays, apparently. He says he does like 100 parlays a day.
Yeah, it drives me insane.
At $5 a piece. This is like the opposite of our brand here on a numbers game. Clearly, Chris doesn't care about anything we have to say. Last night, Chris did a $5 parlay that hit at over 1,000 to 1. So who are we to say anything after a day like this? He had Kaysen Wallace over 20 plus points for OKC. He had Jonathan Kuminga 20 plus points for the Atlanta Hawks. What an embarrassment for the Warriors. Such an embarrassment. I said that yesterday too. And then the coup de grace, the creme de la creme, Luka, 13 plus assists. He ends up with 13 on the button, I believe. And I asked Chris out on the break, is there a strategy here for your ridiculous amount of parlays, each for $5 a pop? By the way, I also asked him, I go, do you regret not betting 10? He's like, nah, man, it's volume. He said, you know what he said? He goes, I got the strategy from Darnell, who also works behind the glass, and I believe is a 10-time employee of the month here, employee of the week here.
Of the week, yeah.
Larry has yet to win one.
Of the week.
And you know what Chris said the idea was from Darnell? Bet on players after scandals. That's his methodology.
You know what the best part is? You know what the best part, Chris? You should maybe take a cue from Darnell, though. If Darnell is not tailing you on every one of these.
That's right. Good. Hey,
he doesn't even believe his own strategy.
Hey, it wasn't German hockey because he's betting on that too. So
yeah. Pull back the curtain even further. We got like an 11-leg one that included German hockey from Chris the other day. That, as you know, on my brand, I think we rightfully killed Chris for. He sent this one to me last night, and I'm like, I could back up every single one of these plays. Kaysen Wallace playing for the Thunder without SGA, without J-Dub in that game. Someone's got to score. I was surprised he was getting 10 to 1 on 20-plus points. Kuminga debut. There's not a lot. It's not like there's a lot of scorers on Atlanta. Okay, I get that. And Luka Doncic can put up a big assist number sometimes.
All right, boys and girls.
3 legs.
Boys and girls, don't try this at home. Just let Chris do his thing, and I'm just going to tell Chris I'm happy for him, but this won't end well.
And if, Darnell's like Illuminati betting strategy or whatever works out, then we'll make that a segment instead.
All right, let's break these down by conference, NFC, AFC. Let's start with the NFC.
Let's do it.
So this is just our first glance at NFL season win totals. No team lined higher than 10.5, but there's 10 teams that are at 10.5.
Can I ask you a big picture question first?
Yes, sir.
On win totals. You and Joe were talking about this a little bit yesterday when it came to baseball. It's awesome that we get this stuff earlier and earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
You and I have brought this up before, though. I don't know that I'm ready to launch into many bets here. Like, there's so much NFL offseason to go with rosters being rounded out. So that is something like just keep in mind as you're looking at stuff.
The baseball one was we used to wait for the Atlantis, this casino in Reno.
I remember that one.
Would put out baseball season win totals on Valentine's Day, and that would be like 2 weeks before Vegas would be like, this is amazing.
It's always what I'd see.
They'd be off market. They'd be now it's December. DraftKings is like, here you go.
That was always one I'd see on an odds board, and I'd be like, where the hell is this one?
Okay, I didn't love the NFC as much as I love the AFC. But the two in the NFC, and this probably won't shock many people, is I kind of like the Lions over at 10.5, minus 130. And yes, by the way, the Lions have the 6th easiest schedule by opponent win percentage anyway in the NFL next year. Remember, no longer having to play the first place schedule. And the Bears under 9.5, which I like but don't love. People would think probably I would go crazy about it. I don't love it, but I do kind of lean that way. Again, under 9.5, minus 120. They have the single most difficult schedule in the NFL next year based on last year's win percentages, which isn't the ideal way to do it. But at this point, it's a nice barometer. And remember, they had the plus 22 turnover differential last year, and they won all those cardiac games with Caleb Williams. Remember, the deal that was made with the universe, the Hail Miriam will go against you, but we will allow you to win every close game next year. Well, that deal is now complete. So I would go under Bears, over Lions, but those are really the only two NFC teams, NFC ones that I like, and I don't love either. I like them.
I will start right there in the NFC North. I think that's kind of interesting with Lions. We warned all end of last season, right? Hey, this team is not going to be disrespected in the betting markets. People are going to be aware of this. Feels about right to me, Gil. Like, I'm not rushing to. I don't think I'm going to end up on an over now, having seen these numbers. We'll see what happens again in the offseason. Maybe things change. And I'll tell you, I will say I'm exact oppo you on the Bears. I kind of like the Bears over. I don't love it. I don't love it.
And I like the under. I don't love it. The Bears do. I mean, listen. Bears, just real quick. Home, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, obviously. But then home also Jacksonville, New England, New Orleans, Jets, Philly, Tampa. Well, New Orleans, the Jets, those are winnable, right? Let's say they even get the best of those games. But then away, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, obviously, Atlanta, Buffalo, Carolina, Miami, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, it's not a slam dunk either way.
Yeah. They've got NFC North has the NFC South and AFC East this year.
Yeah.
The division's going to be tough, but they can rack up a lot of these teams could rack up a lot of wins outside division. The other team, I feel like every year, Gil, I've ended up, you could probably say it's better than anybody. I feel like I end up on a win total over or under on this team like every single year. Minnesota Vikings, because I think they are the one, at least as we stand right now, with a lot of positions to address. They've got a good roster, but what's going on at quarterback? Do they have a GM yet? Like, that's a nightmare scenario over there in Minnesota. It would be the under 8.5. I just think they, to me right now, are the pretty clear fourth best team in that division. It feels like, this is the exact conversation I had about the Seattle Seahawks 7 months ago, but, still. It would be Vikings under for me. And then the NFC South, I'm kind of surprised you didn't bring it up. Falcons over, although this is already moved. This was 6.5 on the open at like minus 150 to the over.
I'm not a Penix guy. That's why I didn't bring it up. I don't trust him.
Just the rest of the division. And then Panthers, the same one. Panthers under 6.5, which I feel like I've bet 5 times in the past 2 years, and it's still the one that jumps out to me. I think the Saints are on the rise. I don't know that I trust them yet. I think the Falcons and Bucs are still the best 2 teams in that division, but man, there's a lot of questions in that division still.
I like 4 AFC ones way better than those 2 NFC ones.
See if there's anything else.
And you're right. The point that you make at the beginning is a great one, Kelly, which is it's already murky. Well, last year, more than any other season, I think was the year we all kind of agree. it was the most level playing field, right? There was no elite team. Maybe you thought the Seahawks and Rams were, but they were the least flawed. In other words, there was no epically great team, although Aaron Schatz did have Seattle 7th best of all time since 1978, so some people did feel they were epically good. But the point being is, if you feel like most do that that it's a much more level playing field top to bottom, as the season win totals reflect, with 10 teams at 10.5, to do it earlier than ever makes doubly less sense, right?
Like I think the other one lastly I'll mention is the